All right, welcome everybody. Rachaël and I are here and we're so excited about our upcoming webinar series with optional seminars taking place as well. And the webinar is coming up July 28th to 30th, 2023. And we're so excited to be able to share some of this knowledge with you around calming signals and tracking the nervous system of the horse from the understanding of Rachael's work. Looking at calming signals and nervous system state shifts and how do we improve nonverbal communication with our equine friends. So we're going to show you a short clip that shows some examples of some of the things that we're going to start to look at. And Rachaël and I are going to go through some of the questions that we'll be unpacking with you all in the course. So Rachaël, if you want to go ahead and share.
I will. Hi all. I'm just going to share my screen. Here we are. And this is a clip. My horse, Fosche, when I just had him, and he's in the pasture and I'm approaching him. I'm not taking him out of the pasture, which I would normally do, but I stop and start filming him. So you're going to be bombarded, and I think we're going to be bombarding you with questions, and we are not only bombarding you, but we have a lot of questions ourselves too. That's in our nature, I would say. But what are we going to look at? We're going to look at clips. We're going to look at horses. How comfortable are they? Is there lingering tension? Is the horse having tension going up to the edge of his comfort zone, over, not over? Is the tension staying level? Is it pendular? Is it going down? How can you tell? With this horse, you could see him turning his head. You could see him turning his neck. Is he doing that because he wants to look at something, or is he showing his calming signal, showing the head turn or neck turn? Does he have an outward gaze, an inward gaze? How can you see and how can you tell differences?
Some of the questions that I think about when I look at this video are also things related to context, you know, this horse in this moment at this time in this relationship. And so, you know, is the horse licking and chewing, what is happening there? Is that a sign of, is that a calming signal of appeasement? I'm trying to calm you. Is it a sign that the horse is feeling calmer because it is approaching Rachaël, and horses prefer to be in company and not by themselves? You know, I think in this particular situation, you had just gotten him, and so he may have still been housed alone. So is he looking forward to, you know, is he deactivating because he's with another organism and he's appreciating being in connection, or is this a sign of stress? You know, what is happening here? I get curious about the lateralization also of what is being seen in the left eye and in the right eye, and what is going on in terms of processing on the left or right side of the brain in terms of emotion. And so there's going to be bits and pieces there as well. Also in terms of where is the gate, where is he, you know, where is he about to go and be led? And how much of this might be reflective also of Rachael's nervous system and what's happening for Rachaël in this moment, and in terms of her nervous system states, and how are they, so to speak, pinging off of each other, you know, and what is showing up there in the relationship, and how are we seeing that showing up in the sequences of behavior that might give us an indication of what is happening in the nervous system of both human and horse in this particular moment. Rachaël, do you have any other questions that you get curious about as you look at this video?
Many. And I think I'm so looking forward to the days, because we are going to unravel a lot, and there's so much to see in the nuances. And I mean, as we said, we can find answers looking at sequences and knowing differences in observation, and seeing when a neck turn is a neck turn as a calming signal, but also seeing when a neck turn is being done by a horse because he wants to look at something. And we can look at predictability and weight shifts. We can look, I mean, so there will be answers and there will be some predictability, but it might also be that we sometimes do not have answers and say, well, it could be option 1, 2, and 3, and how could we tell, and can we tell? So I think I'm looking forward to that journey, and yeah, giving and sharing as much insights as we can. Yeah.
I'm looking
just
forward to
by
it
the way,
too.
he wasn't housed alone, though there were horses with him. Yeah.
Ah, in this particular paddock?
In this well, it was next to the paddocks then. In this,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
in
And
this spot.
it's still an interesting question, right? Because like they do prefer to be in connection. And
Absolutely.
so if that isn't applicable in this particular case, there can also, these are questions that I think are helpful questions overall to consider.
Absolutely.
If if a horse is housed alone or is maybe not as close by with its friends, is it showing signs of deactivation because it's now no longer alone?
Absolutely. And compare. Because he later went into a group housing, and what did it do to him? And what did it do? Did it change the signals he gave to me, or was it the same? Or many questions now, so we can think of. Absolutely.
It's so rich. And I get really curious about, I think about the trauma lens on all of this as well, in terms of early disruptions. And, does this horse have a history of socialization? Did it stay with its mom until it could wean naturally? What was the weaning experience like? And how does all of this influence capacity for connection and relationship? And so,
yes, absolutely. And I could add from my library of films, like, how would you see a horse with an extremely large comfort zone? How would that buildup of eventual tension be? How would he deregulate? How would that look if you compare it to a horse with a small comfort zone? So, but we'll have films on that too. Yeah.
This is
so I hope everyone is just as getting just as excited as we are.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. And so if you're ready to register and you're wanting to come and nerd out with Rachaël and I, July 28th to 30th, 2023, there's still spots available for the webinar. There's no obligation to come and see us in person. We have in-person live seminars as well. The prerequisite for those seminars is the 3-day webinar. And the reason for that is because we're covering a lot of ground in the webinar. So that way, when we do meet in person, for those of you who are interested in that, you'll already have a really solid grounding in a lot of the material, so that when we get together, we'll be able to start from a much further place than just meeting in person for the first time without that content. So that was deliberate and by design. So if you are joining us for the webinar, please do consider coming and seeing us in person as well. Those spots are limited, but there's no obligation. Most of our students will be taking the webinar, and that is still going to be chock full of material and video and images and invitations for you to be curious about your own nervous system and what's coming up for you, and your response patterning and your sequence experiences that tend to happen as well in relation to not only the videos, because you're going to have responses to the videos, but also to the horses in your own life that you are either in relationship with personally, or that you are working with or have some sort of connection with. So the webinar, again, July 28th to 30th, registration is still going until we close registration, depending on when we sell out of tickets. So please do take the time, register if you can. And if you're interested, please do also consider coming to see us in person so we can have some fun together. But either way, we are looking forward to seeing you all in July online. And so click on the link below if you're ready to sign up, and we'll see you very, very soon.
Bye-bye.